language is kind of made up of all these little pieces, and you take all these little pieces and put them together and you can make a sentence. But just because some parts of that sentence might be wrong doesn't mean that everything is wrong, right? So I think it's important when you're teaching to make sure that students know what they have done right, even if they do something that is wrong. And so just on the sentence level, you know, they are construction workers. I mean, there's so many parts of it, right? Like there's a capital letter at the beginning, there's a period at the end, there's a pronoun, but then there's also putting the pronoun in the right place. There's using the right pronoun. They might use a pronoun, but it's not the right one. But celebrate the fact that they knew they needed a pronoun. You know, there's a verb, but then there's conjugating it correctly. There's putting it in the right place. There's using a noun. There's making sure you don't capitalize it because it's not a proper noun. There's, you know, spelling something correctly. Then there's also, you might spell it wrong, but you get the first sound correct, and that's a success. So even just when you look at writing, not to say anything about listening and speaking and reading, there's all these like little pieces that add up to make a whole. But I think it's important, I think it's very easy for people who don't teach language every day to think of someone else's language as being correct or incorrect. And that's just never the case.
Dealing with the complexity of the English language is difficult, and I find myself going through similar, again, Groundhog Day. Like every year there's something super funny that happens. Like I'll have a poster on the board, and I'm asking the kids is the answer this one, or this one, and all of them will yell out this one. So I'm like, all right, well, how can I get back to, how can I make that simpler, but also like, okay, is it the first one, second one, or third one? Just being able to acknowledge that they don't have that language on their own. I have to provide that for them and then build up to this one, or this one. And they can yell out, oh, it's the first one. But as far as what we do in the classroom and my responsibility in the classroom, again, it's building up throughout the year. It's and I know like scaffolding, you know, that word can be overused, but it's scaffolding throughout the year and repetition throughout the year. This is a set of vocabulary words, and this is what I expect you to be able to do with this list of vocabulary words by the end of this unit. This is the expectation is for you to be able to manipulate this list of vocabulary words and use it in a project, not just be able to answer multiple choice questions, but actually use it in an essay. And we highlight, we put the verbs in triangles and have them connect symbols to parts of this of the language and so forth. So building on that and repeating that and using the same colors, because if you use blue when you normally use orange, that throws them off. So it's a lot of repetition with like highlighting or annotating and identifying verbs, identifying the syntax and so forth. And letting them know it's a lot easier than what they think. Because it can be complex if you make it complex, but if you show that there's easier components and break it down and then build up. But then again, you have to break it back down every new topic, start from the beginning, build it back up. And then hopefully by April, they'll be building it up by themselves, facilitating that build up by themselves. They know what's coming. Let's go over it step by step. So write down your notes. Sin que escribir sus notas. This week, we are learning about, what are we learning about? Thank you, the plant life cycle. That was your project. So pueden escribirlo. De nada, es gratis. Viernes. We're helping you out, right? Yes, you can, Brian, you write on my table. You clean all the tables. Thank you. We learned about how many, bless you, we learned about how many processes? 4, okay? 5, so see, confundation. 4 processes, 5 steps. Okay, we learned about 5 steps, but 4 processes. First, seeds can enter the soil by what? Nope. How do the seeds enter the soil? We learned 3 ways. Listen. How can the seeds enter the soil? The seeds can fall. That's one. Another way. The seeds can fall. The wind can carry the seeds. And animals can, right? But what's the science? I don't want to hear poop poop. What's the scientific word? What is it? Excrement. Yep, excrement. Perfect. Or waste. Okay, so the animals can eat it and release them through their waste. I don't want to see poop poop in your essay. Okay.